available. SPD wants to move back in here without meeting any of those demands, and we say that is not acceptable. We occupy this space because Black Lives Matter.
Women who are participating in what's going on here. We've all been asked to speak at the
So in Carmen Best, when the gross disappointment, that is my sister Carmen Best, says that she's coming down here to look for leaders to negotiate, we've already told you what we want.
Okay, good stuff.
I was here tonight. We made the list of demands. I'm not one of those leaders in CHAZ that they claim they're looking for. I'm just a lady that lives in the neighborhood. We made the list as a group. And that group was led by Black voices. The list of demands that we made is similar to the platform of the National Black Lives Matter movement that's been out there for 5 years at this point. This is not new. The mayor and the police force are using media manipulation to make it look like there's no Black voices down here, that we're asking for crazy stuff. So in my opinion, the Black voices here in this space are being erased not so much by the other people in CHAZ, but by the police and by the people who've been successfully misinformed by an intentional disinformation campaign. I have been in these streets since the second day of the Seattle protests. They snuck up on me the first day. I didn't even know y'all were going out there. I've been in the streets since the second day of the Seattle protests. On that day, we had 2 events. One was at the police precinct downtown on 5th Avenue. The other event was at Westlake. 2 different rallies organized by 2 different groups. Because Black Lives Matter is a decentralized movement. Nobody holds the monopoly on putting on a rally or holding space or making a demand. So the first day that I was in the streets at Westlake, one moment I was chanting in a peaceful crowd, and the next moment, flash grenades were exploding all around me. They're very loud, they're very bright, and they emit smoke so that you can't see. Their purpose is to frighten and disorient you. The police used those flash grenades on us 4 or 5 times to get us to move back, and they used tear gas twice. Not once did they ask or direct us to move where they were trying to get us to move. They used devices of terror in the place of communication, and now they claim that all they want to do is communicate. Now, 15 years ago, I was an evacuee of Hurricane Katrina. About a year later, I was diagnosed with PTSD. PTSD means something about the way that you function becomes disordered after you've experienced an extremely traumatic event. At least 35% of people who experience Katrina experience PTSD. What do you think happens to a person who has PTSD when those extremely loud and shocking and disorienting flash grenades explode within a few feet of them? As a hint, I'll just tell you that a lot of veterans go to low population quiet areas around the 4th of July. There's 3 reactions that you have: fight, flight, or freeze. You get angry, you run away, or you freeze in the moment. You freeze physically or you freeze in your mind. And I froze. And because I froze while everyone else was running away, they shot 2 more flash grenades directly at my body. So thankfully this young man, he was dressed in all black, and I have enough protest experience to know that it was probably one of those so-called Antifa terrorists that I'm being told to be afraid of He came and he grabbed me and he pulled me away and he stayed with me until I was moving normally away with the rest of the crowd. If he had not been there to help me, this person who there's mass media hysteria telling me that I should be afraid of him. If that person had not helped me, I would have most likely been injured and arrested by the police because I have PTSD, and their response to my response to their behavior was to terrorize me even further. That is a microcosm of the way the police deal with people whose brains do not work typically. Whether you have a mental illness or whether you are a non-neurotypical person who has something like autism spectrum disorder, when the police are called out to deal with people in crisis that stems from the way that our mind functions, they come out and they tase us. They pepper spray us, they shoot us, or they arrest us. Sometimes they do all four. And so the demand that I put on the list is that we take some of the $400 million that we give to the Seattle Police Department every year, and instead we put the money into community services that know how to help people in crisis without brutalizing them. Mental health services are so underfunded in this country that people who need strong medical intervention for mental health are instead in jail or in prison. In those jails and prisons, our system brutalizes them. The majority of women in prison experience physical or sexual abuse in their childhoods, and they never receive treatment for that trauma. That untreated trauma made it difficult for them to engage in the world successfully. If they had received treatment, then their outcomes could have been different. But instead of investing in mental health for communities, we just build more prisons to house people that are struggling to function due to trauma. And the police we send to arrest them inflict more trauma. And the system we imprison them in inflicts more trauma. And nobody gets help. So we want to divest that money from the police and the rest of the criminal justice system and invest it in infrastructure that helps people who need help rather than criminalizing them. It's on the list of demands. So when Jenny and Carmen Best claim that they are looking for the leaders of CHAZ to negotiate with them, they are once again lying. We've already come to the negotiating table with our demands. They're trying to pretend that the table hasn't even been set yet. We've set the table. We've already started the negotiations for you to come back and reoccupy those space. And the next step is for you to respond to the demands. In the meantime, we will be occupying this space for two reasons. The first one is most important because Black Lives Matter. And as a person who's very familiar with trauma, I believe the second reason that we are occupying this space is because the police have caused this community trauma. There are people who are going to suffer some effects of trauma because of what the Seattle Police Department has done to them in the last 2 weeks. And when I look around this space, I see to that trauma. I see people wanting to take a place of abuse and turn it into something beautiful. And I think that no one should be able to tell you that this reaction to police terrorism is invalid, as everything we do here continues to be in Black Lives Matter. all of the women who we asked to come speak with you all today are doing this out of the goodness of their heart. They didn't ask for any compensation. They didn't give us any rates. They just said, yeah, we'll be there. However, as Black women, we don't believe in asking Black folks to give their time without compensating them. So, each of these ladies are getting a small token of our appreciation, some cash money, when they leave here, from the Harriet Tubman Foundation for Safe Passage.
How do we donate?
Yep, the website. If you would like to make a donation to support more of these type of events where we compensate Black people for giving us their time and sharing their gifts, it's htffsp.org. Okay? So please, htffsp.org. All right. Send in those donations so we can continue to fund these type of events. And thank you to everyone who has already made a donations. We've been live for like less than 48 or maybe 72 hours. So thank you to everyone who made today possible and put money in the pockets of these Black women who are sharing their gifts with us. One more time, the website, htffsp.org.
Thieves.com.
Is it .com?
Thieves.com.
I shortened it for you, though.
She didn't shorten it. It was the whole Harriet Tubman Foundation passage.org, and it was a doozy. You'll see it on the survey. Also, remember to do those surveys, everybody. We do need that information, and we continue to invite our Black brothers and sisters up to the front. Please, the space is for you if you're willing and able. Our white allies will make space for you to come to the front if you wish to be up here. All right? Kaya. Yeah.
Let's put some money so we can cash your basket.
Donation box.
All right.
Pass the collection plate.
First, I want to shout out to Revolution Staging. They have been here for many days, helping everybody get their voices out and letting people talk and having Black voices, young voices up here on the stage so people can feel heard. So shout out to them. Thank you, Alyssa, for being very amazing.
Can we give her a bigger shout out than that?
It's nice for them that all of you out there can hear me at all right now, so thank you. I'm going to introduce our next speaker. This is somebody that I had the chance to actually sit down and have a great conversation with the other day. She is very passionate about being here. She has a vision, and I'm really excited for you guys to hear what she has to say. I'd like to bring in Nate.
Can you guys hear me? With my mask on? No. So I just want to start with this. All the Black women here that have a rose, smell that motherfucker right now. Enjoy that. We are allowed to have some joy in our fucking lives. I know it's been crazy. It's been really heavy these last couple weeks, but we get that. We get to have our own little joy, however you want to do it. Get your nails done, shit's open up again. Do what you gotta do. I go by Nate, and I've been here every day. Told you guys I'd be here every day, right? Didn't I say that shit? Every fucking day. But I'm tired because I've been here every fucking day. But I want to start my story by saying this. I am a single mother. My son's father is not alive anymore. So I'm doing it on my own. I haven't seen my son in a while, and that's not sitting well with me. But I know that the things we're doing here, the things that we're accomplishing, are gonna make it so my son can thrive, and not just survive in this fucking world, but thrive. That's all I want, is to see it in my lifetime. That is all I want. And I'm tired. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm not waiting 400 years for something I know we can do now. Okay? There's no reason. I know the system has us fucked up in the head thinking that we can't have freedom, because we've never really had it. If you think about it, even the white people in the crowd, you think you're free, but you're not. The ones that were here with me, you thought you were free, but you got tear gas with me too, right? So my next point brings me to this. All the men in the crowd, all of them, I need you to understand how to shut the fuck up. Stop talking. It's my turn, shut the fuck up. Stop talking. And I need you to listen to understand, not to respond, to understand. Because that is the only way this is gonna work, okay? I'm tired of being shut down. If you see me speaking, wait till I am done speaking to address me. If you want respect from me, that's what I need from you, men. All of you, black, white, in between, I don't care. That's what I need from you now. Why the fuck did I have to step over here when that man was doing whatever he was doing to protect my sister? Where my brothers at? Where my brothers at? Why did I have to do that? You gave way too much opportunity and time for that man to get way too close to her. That's how you show your allegiance to us. That's how you do it. Use your privilege of strength. Use your privilege of able body to protect us, okay? I know I'm not afraid of the police, but why do I gotta prove that shit every day? Why? For what? I already proved it. What the fuck I'm about? Now I need you guys to prove it to me. And I see you guys looking for direction. I see that. And that is why I bring a megaphone every day, because y'all be sitting around, standing around, just looking around, floating this shit. If you see somebody fucking up our safe space, they gotta go. I already went through way too much trauma, way too much PTSD right now for anybody to come into my space and make me feel as dangerous as I did, unsafe as I did when the police were here. You notice how peaceful this shit got as soon as there was a lack of police presence? That is not a coincidence, y'all. That is by design. They are not here to protect. They are here to neglect, or they're here to terrorize, but nothing else. Understand that. What happened today, what happened a couple weeks ago? I need everybody to tell the fucking story. The police attacked us, their own fucking people. And the news, the fucking news, oh yeah, we're having all media outlets are gonna be held accountable. Best believe that shit. Don't cut my interviews out. You take the whole thing or nothing at all. The whole thing or nothing at all. Because that's my voice that I refuse to let go. I just got this shit back. I ain't letting it go that easy. No, that is also a form of disrespect. I will not be shut the fuck up, and none of us will. Understand that. This was only accomplished because we did it together. We did it together, okay? So understand that. Yes, we want to use the privilege that others have more than others. Well, duh, you're up here. I'm down here. I'm trying to meet you up here. Why am I going to sacrifice the little bit I got to get the whole thing you got? No, that's not, like, that doesn't make any fucking sense at all. So show up, shut up, or put up. Okay? No more block party. This ain't no fucking block party. Understand how traumatizing this fucking gun was for us. That's how you respect us. But stop acting like this is some nonchalant shit. There is still healing that needs to be done for all of us. I have night sweats. Like, this shit is affecting me more than I realize. And now that shit's slowing down, I'm paying attention. I'm trying to get my weight back up. And I need everybody here to do the same. Take care of your fucking self. Take care of your mental, your physical, and your spirit. Because what they did to us is not normal. Don't think it is. Don't ever let that shit sit easy on you. If it was not normal, nothing about it was. This is shit that I read about other countries doing to their people. How dare us have this fucking mentality that we better than other countries when we're out here being attacked by the fucking police. No. We ain't no better than nobody across the world. The way we do better, the way we can do better, is by coming together and actually doing better. Actually. That is also a way of being held accountable. I need to talk to you guys all here. I'm holding you accountable all fucking day. And if I feel there's a fucking party vibe, I'll remind you, this is not a fucking party. This is not a fucking party. And it's disrespectful for you to do that shit in front of me. I will try to keep my composure every time, but I cannot keep promises. So help me by doing that. Help me by showing up and actually being here with me. Okay? Let's talk about the next thing. Also, your bodies are here, but where are your heads at? I need you to hold your fucking family accountable. The motherfuckers that aren't here, hold their asses accountable too. Because if I am to see that shit in my son's lifetime, in my lifetime, you gotta talk to your grandma. You gotta talk to your aunties. All those racist motherfuckers, you gotta check them every opportunity you get. There's no more jokes anymore at the dinner table. That shit's over. It's done. Next, you need to start holding the people in office fucking accountable. First, they are there because we put them there. They get paid with your money. Your money. My money. I am paying them essentially to beat my ass. What the fuck? So that's another front that we have to approach too. Not just here, over there, but also understand this. A system that is broken and never meant to work for you, trying to fix that shit to the inside, probably won't work. People tried it. They killed them. You know what they do to our black leaders? You know what the fuck this country's done. Let's not act brand new. I ain't wearing this because of Corona, I'm wearing this for my safety. Dead ass. So with that considered, stop fucking taking pictures of me without blacking my eyes out. Disrespectful, I will not accept it. Thank you. What I need now is you to spread the story. I just told you, every part of it. Like I said, do not cut my shit out. It's the whole thing or nothing at all. And tell that story so that our souls can have some atonement for what the fuck happened here. Okay? I need that. Like literally my spirit needs that. I am asking and begging right now. This is how I beg. I don't really do it, but you know. Because I'm too proud for that shit. But I need you guys to do that. Tell the truth, because we cannot rely on the media to do it, or our government to do it, or our senators. No, it's on us. If you don't get it, you should probably leave. It's on us. You don't have to do a lot more work. It's on us. For the people, by the people, of the people. That is the message that they taught me in their fucking history classes, but do not live by. They do not live by those fucking words. So what we do here is we show them we show them the actual narrative, that and what it looks like. Like coming out and supporting each other. We are supporting each other the way the government is supposed to. Y'all still paying taxes too, huh? Right? Yeah? Ain't that some crazy fucking shit? They still collecting their checks sitting fat. While we're sitting on the ground talking to each other. This is beautiful, don't get me wrong. But they can't have that while we're having this, or it doesn't fucking matter. You see what I'm saying? The system, do you know what people do with things that are broken and they can't fix? They throw them away. So what are we going to do with this system? If it's not being able to fix, throw that motherfucker away. Throw it the fuck away. Because I'm not convinced that the government here knows anything, knows how to work, that has anything. They're not going to have any. Alright? All they do is create new policies to work around that shit anyways. You're playing a game they created. How do you think you're ever going to win? Alright? So the next time we have somebody come here, I need you guys to not fucking sit and rally with them and then march. Kawama, the fucking councilwoman, that was a fucking show and a joke. A slap in the face. Our movement, bitch, I have not seen you here. I've been here every day. Where the fuck you been at? So, with that considered, the next time these people come here, I need everybody to check them. Stop marching with these motherfuckers. They weren't here when it was hard. Don't let them be here when it's easy. Don't let them be here when it's easy. You don't get to come here and reap the fruits of our labor like they already do. That shit stops today, okay? You stay forward. I'm gonna hold all y'all accountable. I'm telling you. I'm remembering I'm scanning the crowd right now. You got masks on, but I got you. Because, so please, stop treating this like a fucking block party, because it's not. If you want to be respected by the people that were here when it was rough, be respectful in that way. Be respectful in that way. That's all I ask. It's not very much. Be here, be safe, and be respectful in that way. I got you. With that being said, I'm done. I'm Nate. Thank you for listening, guys.
Can you hear me now? Yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you, Nate. Let's give it up again for Nate.
Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Nate. Thank
It's real quick. I'm going to do a bit of a check-in. I don't know who was here to hear Nadia speak when she was up in the front when we first started. We're doing this for Black women. We are in the middle of a Black movement right now. So, we just want to make it really important that we have the attention of Black people, but we want them to be in the front. We have not always had the opportunity to sit directly in front. So, for all the white people that keep moving up to the front, I just want to let you know that the front, we're making that space for Black people. That's what we're here for. So just to throw that out there. So, while I'm over here saying Black bodies to the front, I'm pretty sure you hear the term white bodies to the front. Our next speaker is very well known for saying that term.
Why do you think no one died? Not a single person died. And this precinct is empty. White bodies to the front.
There you go. I like her. I like you. All right, give it up for our next speaker, Jay.
What's up, y'all? How we doing? During this time, I would like to actively see Black bodies make their way to the front. If you're a Black body that wants to be up in the front, let's physically move. Let's shift the space up just a little bit. Black people, come forward. It's all good. Come on up. Come on up. White bodies, move to the back and make space. Thank you. I like to see movement when I get up here. I'm not here to play with y'all today or any day. Absolutely. Black bodies to the front. White bodies, go ahead, move around. Beautiful. Beautiful. It seems that our ancestors are starting to communicate. I was reached out to by a sister, offered to come and speak today. Some of y'all know me, as she said, as white bodies to the front. You might have seen me running around here like a crazy Negro with a mask on, moving y'all up to the front, breaking this barricade down day after day after day, no matter what the fuck they was trying to do. The key word for today is the same key word that we had when we actually took over the East Precinct, and it's character. Seattle, as you witnessed the Seattle Police Department's character, I think you've started to question your own, and that might be why you're here today. It may not necessarily be clear to you yet what your role is, because we all take roles. That's what the sister was just talking about. Know your place and be active in that space. Mobilize, as you've also heard me say. So I come to you today to discuss how the character of Seattle needs to develop and move forward. I think it's fantastic that we're occupying this space, that we are becoming more established in our presence, that we are becoming far less concerned with the perception of the media and more concerned with the perception of ourselves. Black people have never been uplifted in the media. Every time we die, it's just a body. That's why I say, white bodies to the front. This is about our mental state. I'm here to talk to you on a spiritual level today. This is about your behaviors. This is about your character and the way that you show up. Consistency and stamina is not something that white people are accustomed to in this movement. So you may think showing up every day is on a Saturday. No, it's tomorrow, and then the next day, and 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 the next day. It's when you get tired. It's calling out of work. It's quitting your job. It's making sure that the priority is understood by any means necessary, and we don't shift from that. I reiterate to you all that this is not a block party. I don't necessarily like seeing people walk around with beer cans in their hand, because I tell you something, this is not a funeral. We ain't celebrating no death yet. This has been an active murder of black people for 462 years.
When you show up to these spaces, I do not just want you to be present, I need you to bring your presence. And I'll say that again. Do not just show up here and be present. I need you to bring your presence. That means you don't just show up in your everyday clothes. I need you here prepared for the Seattle Police Department to return. Because I don't need white bodies that run away. I need them to move to the front if they come back. I need you to implement your intellect. I need you to be able to have discernment. I need you to ignite your senses. If something doesn't feel right, it's not right. When you see something wrong, you need to say something. And more than that, I need you to do something. That's why you're here. We've witnessed the commitment that comes from the Seattle Police Department, Jenny Dirk Dirk, as I like to call her, and Carmen wish she was the best. We've seen that they have no problem showing up every day on camera telling us something different than what we're seeing. So again, now we're checking back into our senses. If we don't see it ourselves, it really don't make sense, does it? That doesn't work for us. So we reject that. And as we've also developed in this conversation, because this is a spiritual conversation that we're having, we do not accept the perception of the news and the media. That's not our business. I could give a damn what they think about me. I care about the perception that's going on within black minds. I care about white bodies being in the front protesting so that black people have the opportunity to demonstrate. I care about presence. Ain't nobody here for a dollar. I'm here to make sure that the demands of our people are met. I do not want 50% cut from the Seattle Police Department. I want defunding. I want abolishment of the police state. That's what I'm here for. I don't want Jenny Birkin to take a knee. The last time a white person took a knee, it was on George Floyd's neck. I'm good. I want you to resign. I want Common Best to resign. I want the Seattle Police Department to turn in their badges. That's what I want. Those are a part of the demands. And now I would like to share a few concepts with you. One that some of you may have heard. There's been a conversation about infiltrators in this movement. As you've seen, we had our own Rachel Dolezal, aka Raisha Levitt, and act like she was really swinging something for the community. And honestly, she was leading you guys in really dangerous situations. Along with Brandon Lewis, along with CHAZ, aka Raz, aka Solomon Simone. And I don't really play games, so I'm not afraid to say I said what I fucking said. Now the question has obviously come, how is it that we deal with infiltrators? How is it that we protect ourselves by any means necessary? And now I'm going to reference Avatar Aang, The Last Airbender. Most of you guys have seen it. There comes a point at the end of his journey where he has to choose. Do I kill Fire Lord Ozai? Or do I let him continue with his terror? An ancestor comes to him and says this: before we bent the elements, we bent the energy within ourselves. He then shows him how to remove the power. This is now the job of you all. When you see someone exuding power that creates terror, you need to remove their power. This is how we respond to the enemy. For black people, specifically for black men, and there are black women who are in danger in this space, whether we want to acknowledge it or not, that means you get your ass up here and you disrupt when you see a brother acting up. You disrupt when you see a brother walking through with AK-47 trying to bully our people. You make moves forward and you protect. Because black women have always been willing to speak. We've always been willing to die for you. And now it is time that you stand up and mobilize forward for us so that we can continue. What does that mean for the white bodies that are present? That means that you protect who comes forward by any means necessary. That means that if you're here, you understand a black person knows when they walk out of their front door that they could die. If you step into this space, you need to also know that it's possible. It's more than possible. In fact, it's probable. And you need to be willing. This requires a commitment in a different way. I'm not asking you to repost. I'm not asking you to even be peaceful. I came here to disrupt. I came here to erupt in this space and not to be fearful. I always tell people, keep the peace at home with yourself. This is for black people to hear. Keep that peace at home for yourself. Make sure that you're resting, drinking water, being properly fed, that someone is folding your clothes and doing your laundry and taking care of you. Let somebody rub your back and hug you. This is important. Because when you come out here, you already know. But for the white bodies, you need to step out here ready. This is not to be confused with you putting on a mask and making a sign. No. Ready. Ready to move forward. Ready to shield a black person with your white body. This is specific. Because if you think that we're going to be in this space forever and be able to hold here, you're absolutely incorrect. We all have to mobilize forward in order for this to go forward. This is not the end. This was not some grand victory. This was a step in the right direction. This is again another message to a white body. If you're curious as to what you can be doing during this time, reparations are a real thing. Black people need to be paid for the energy that they are giving to this movement. If you don't want to donate to a general organization, do you, baby, but find a black person that you probably put through some shit and didn't even know it and pay them. Pay them. Absolutely. Cash money. And not just that, with your time and then follow it up with your body on the front lines like I'm telling you now. This is not up for debate. I hope that you all came here today prepared to study. That you came here prepared to observe. That you're not walking out here blindly, because as I said, we don't just show up and be present, we show up with our presence. Is that correct? I said, is that correct? I said, is that correct? Thank you. Thank you. I have to emphasize one other thing, which is that compliance is another form of enslavement. An example of this would be when we had our own little Rachel Berlinsaw, aka Rachel Levitt, or whatever, Boots, as some of y'all know her to be. She had y'all getting on your knees in protest. Unacceptable behavior. Unacceptable behavior. We do not get on our knees. Not now or ever again. We are up and we are mobile at all times, in every way. This is not up for debate. We do not hand out flowers to the police. This is not up for debate. We do not ask them to take a knee with us and work with us. No, the demands have been made. The behavior has been shown. And what's interesting is that in the words of Malcolm X, they will tell you that your response to violence is more violent than the violence that was actually put upon you. And that is bullshit. I've watched as the Seattle Police Department has deployed flash grenades, tear gas, rubber bullets at point blank range. They brought in the National Guard. And what else have they done? They've brought in black figureheads, the same way that Carmen Best is a black figurehead, to sit at the table and have conversations as if they're really mobilizing for our people. Do not allow for this to be any sign or signal that our movement is going somewhere. It's in bodies like this showing up every day. That is your sign and signal. So you gotta be here to know. Because the news, they're gonna lie, but we know that. The government, they're gonna lie, but we know that. These intimidation tactics that I've seen going on in the nighttime here at CHAZ are no longer acceptable. If you're going to walk around and shake hands during the day and be on live and then pop up with your AK-47 with all your boys, just know we are paying absolute attention to you. We are paying absolute attention to behaviors. We are noting this. Not that we don't require protection, but you're not taking an Avatar Aang approach. You're acting as a bully. You're acting as the police. And I ain't met a nigga that's really fond of them, so that's confusing in itself, ain't it? I actually saw a brother I'm gonna speak to him directly because I believe he might be here. Solomon, I saw your music video where you put all these protesters on Front Street, recording them in your music video. Very interesting. I also saw you with that, what was it, a flamethrower in the back of a van? That intrigued me as well, because when I was on the front lines getting tear gassed, I could have sure fucking used that, brother. I could have sure used that. That would have been very helpful. You could have mobilized yourself forward instead of trying to monopolize and have personal gain for your own sick endeavors. Let me be clear. The behaviors that I've seen displayed are not acceptable to me as a black person, so this is not a celebration. I want to be very clear. This is a call to action. Continue mobilizing yourselves forward. Do not lose or become distracted by anybody that comes forward. Your job is very clear. White bodies, make sure that you are protecting black demonstrators. That is your number one job. And black people, we have to implement our senses. Listen, think, show up with your eyes, show up with your mind, and be prepared. Because they're used to saying that black on black crime starts with the black on black arguments that you might see take place here. Bullshit once again. This code has to happen. It absolutely has to happen. Why? Because if I see something that's not right and you think I'm not gonna, I came out here to disrupt on the first day, y'all. I was not here to organize. I came to blow up a couple of cop cars, loot the fuck out of Nordstrom's, and make sure that my black people made it up to the precinct. That's what got me here. But when I saw the behaviors that were going on, I knew that I had to adjust myself and become equipped for the situation at hand. I had to mobilize forward in a different way. I had to become more intelligent. So in the words of Malcolm X, I will never be violent. You think for a moment that if you cross me or mine, any of my black brothers and sisters, that I will not respond by any means necessary, you got another fucking thing coming. I thank you all for showing up today and being present and bringing your presence to the table. If you didn't before, I know it's here now because I really don't play with that. I see all of you guys at attention. This is important. Always be prepared. Always be ready. And when you see something, again, when you witness something, say something. Do something. Because we are not going to be putting up with that behavior anymore, seen or unseen. You are absolutely being observed. And I have an expectation for my brothers and sisters to come together and make motions. Thank you all for your time.
How do you go about that?
Huh?
So how do you go about that?
We'll see. We'll see.
All right. I think we should all take a deep breath. That was powerful. Yeah, give it up. So, I know this has been said over and over and over and over, and I'm going to say it again. We're not here to party. This is not Coachella. Mind you, with that being said, our black people are here and enjoying themselves and learning a lot because that's important, especially our allies. I know a lot of you guys are looking for direction. So there's a couple things that I want to point out that if this is your first day here, that you can check out. We now have a conversation cafe, which is right down at the end of the corner. It's a good spot where people have been sitting down and actually having conversations. I know a lot of black people right now are sick of having these conversations. So instead of going and asking one of your fellow black friends or whatever and exhausting them and bringing up past traumas they probably don't want to talk about, you can go down to the conversation cafe and there'll be somebody sitting there willing to have a conversation with you. There's also There's also the vigil that's right around the corner here, also on 11th, so you can pay respect to people who have lost their lives in the past couple weeks. We also have our medic station, so if anything happens, if anything violent does come through here or whatever, our medic station is over at Rancho Bravo. Just to point those things out so you guys kind of know where to go. The medic station? And then, what's it called? And the People's Community Clinic. I'm sorry, I forgot what it's called. But right over here. And we also have the No Cop Co-op. So make sure you're drinking your water because we keep getting told it's going to rain, but it ends up being hot as fuck. So, moving on. She wanted me to clarify that she's the Black Karen. So let me go ahead and introduce Karen Turing.
I appreciate that so much. Lord have mercy. Can we just say that? Lord have mercy. God damn, y'all, I had no idea. I just got off the phone with my daughter, who, you know, seems to be connected with me in ways that just kind of fascinating. She's 32, she's got 2 kids, and today, and she's been talking to me about this for a couple of days, today she had to have this very, very hard conversation, you know, that Black women have to have with their white friends. And there's just so much to it. There's just so much to being in community with white people, to try to be in league with white people. And that's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just a thing. You know, the complicated stuff that we all have to do just to be in relationship with each other can sometimes be overwhelming when you think about it. So this friend, and please forgive me for sharing someone else's story, but it is my story because it's my family, right? So she calls me right now, I just hung up, to tell me about this conversation that she had to have with a woman who is married to someone who is very, very close to she and her husband and their family. He's like a brother, right? But this chick is a hot mess. She's a hot mess. She's very deep into, you know, all the theories. And her children play with my daughter's children. And when they got married, they believed that this woman and her husband and their children would all grow up together. And she just called me and said, I don't think that's gonna work. I really don't think that this is going to work. So I spent these last few minutes just walking her through how deep Black women have to go inside of themselves and excavate pain and hurt and trauma, all while holding some white girl's hand. You should not have to do that. That's not what I actually came up here to say. Oh man, I just had to get that out. I just had to get that out. I'm sorry. I just had to get that out. Okay, so what I came here to do was to do one, the more you know, right? Just the more you know. Also do a little bit of history and maybe give you a tool, like a mind hack, that you can use when you are trying to do this movement work, okay? So what do you know, a little bit of history, and a mind hack. Okay, so here's the what do you know. That building, right there. What do you know about that building? Okay, yeah. You know a lot of things, especially in these last few weeks, right? But why is that building there? Why is the East Precinct, this police station, why is it right there? To make it easy to arrest poor people. Come on, girl. So as the story goes, as the story that was told to me goes, that East Precinct was supposed to be at fire station number 6. Where have we heard that? Where is fire station number 6? It's in the heart of the Central District. And Black-led organizing said, not today, Satan. That's why that building is right here. So now this part I'm going to do some imagining. So I imagine that at the time, the leadership at that time said, we cannot put a police station right in the middle of the red line Central District. Black people were already corralled in there, and they wanted to put a police station right in the heart of the Central District. But they didn't, because black people said no. And so then they were like, well, where else can we put it? So that our response time, to get those people that we've already corralled will be efficient. That's why it's there. That was the real estate that they could get so that they could get to the CD fast. The more you know. Okay, wait. My little history piece is on my phone here. Hold on. Get the code in. I'm old. This shit's hard. Okay. So I just like to read to you, and I know old people always want to talk about Martin Luther King, don't we? Martin Luther King! Martin Luther King! I like to say it stinky like that. Anyway, because he was stinky, right? We're not perfect. So anyway, this is an excerpt from a letter from the Birmingham jail that might be useful as you go out and do your storytelling, okay? So it goes like this. I must make 2 honest confessions to you, my Christian and Jewish brothers. First, I must confess that over the past few years, I have been gravely disappointed with the white moderate. I have almost reached the regrettable conclusion that the Negro's great stumbling block in his stride towards freedom is not the white citizen's counselor or the Ku Klux Klanner, but the white moderate, who is more devoted to order than to justice, who prefers a negative peace in which the action of tension to a positive peace, which is the presence of justice, who consistently says, I agree with you in the goal that you seek, but I cannot agree with you with your methods of direct action. You know? I like it, but maybe you could do it just a little bit too. Anyway.
Go ahead.
Who paternalistically believes that he can set the timeline for another man's freedom, who lives by a mythical concept of time, and who consistently advises the Negro to wait for a more convenient season. Shallow understanding from people of goodwill is more frustrating than absolute misunderstanding from people of ill will. Lukewarm acceptance is much more bewildering than outright rejection. Don't be in the middle. We just don't have no more time. We just don't have no more time. Don't be in the middle. Just don't be in the middle. Okay, on my last day, oh wait, see my shirt? You know, it's standing in the closet like, okay, don't wear no brand names. You should probably wear all black. Okay, wear your favorite boots. Right? But then it was like, well, what's the message? Because why put on a t-shirt if, you know, you're not carrying the message? And so this one, on the back, is a timeline of civil rights history that includes Seattle civil rights history. All right, I'd like to read it if I can find it, because I'm old, and it takes me a minute. Let me see here. Oh no, I'll never find it now. Okay, let me see.
Young people don't have no patience, better hurry up.
Yeah, y'all gotta have patience
We all right.
with old folks.
Young people don't have that.
Take
Right?
it. Take
Thank you,
it.
sir. Young people, y'all got patience, right?
Take your time.
Class go. Yeah.
Think we don't have patience? This didn't take patience to get? You think we weren't here for 10 days patiently waiting for y'all to show up?
All right. Okay, come on, sis. Okay. Here it is. All right. Make it big so you can read it. I can't read this too, it's too big. So let's do the exercise. All right. Here's a quick exercise to help you in your journey towards being that person that you want to be. Because, right, why are we here? If we're not here to be better, to do better, what the fuck are you doing here? Don't do that. Just don't do that. Okay, so here's the exercise. It goes, it's like a little mind hack that helps white people and non-black people attach their own liberation to our liberation. How many people have done that? Something similar? Right? So it goes like this. If black people are free, my life will be better because, and you fill in the blank. If black people have education and the freedom of self-determination, my life will be better because.
Everybody can prosper.
How will you prosper? How will you grow? How will you get better? Because I'm free. How will you get better? How will you get better? How will you get better? Because my black ass is free. Thank you.
Sorry about that. Give it up again. All right. Before I start taking this record stuff, I'm going to say, really quick, I want to know your your name, because you're very passionate for it. You're Sarah. You are Sarah. Yeah. Okay, because I want to come talk to you. Well, I'm going to come talk to you after this.
What's up?
Yep, you're speaking. Moving on. First, actually, you want to go first? Yeah. All right. I want to name a couple Black organizations, just to shout them out real quick. I'm not very organized right now, so I started actually like really listening to people talking. Thank you. So first I want to shout out Not This Time, which I'm sure you guys have probably seen on Facebook. They put together an event for the protest, and their community organization focused on reducing fatal police shootings and changing the laws that govern the use of force for the police. And their mission is to educate the community, empower them, change policy, and stand with families impacted by police violence. I strongly suggest you find them on Facebook and kind of check them out. Let's see, I'll give you another one. Everybody here likes to read, right? I'm hoping so, because people need to start educating themselves. So I just heard of a place called Estelita's Library. Yeah. So it's located in the White Station in Beacon Hill. It's a new book haven, conversation hub. It's owned by Edwin Lindo. And so it's a place where you can find books about Harriet Tubman. They're going to be right next to books on Latinx identity, next to books by Karl Marx, and first edition John Steinbeck books. So all over the place. Another good place to learn about culture. So just going to throw those two places out. I might throw some out later, depending on time. I'm going to go ahead and introduce our next person. They are a business owner, a burlesque producer, and performer. They produced the Pacific Northwest's first all-people of color burlesque festival. Yeah, it's pretty dope. Yeah. Cool. So let's give it up for Mix Pucks Aplenty.
Good afternoon, everybody. I said good afternoon, everybody. My pronouns are they, them, and yes, queen. I am non-binary, I am queer, and I'm Black. And I'm here about three things. One, I'm here about my son. I have a 9-year-old little boy, and I fought with doctors and therapists for 5 fucking years to get my kid diagnosed. My kid is autistic, and they fought me every single step of the way. My son got kicked out of preschools and co-ops and daycares where all these white moms would stop and stare at me like I was a failure. But I'm getting pushback from doctors and therapists, and I'm trying to get my kid help. I have been kicked, I have been slapped, I have been peed on, I have been spit in my fucking face by my child while trying to get him help. My son was diagnosed officially in November. I'm here for him. I am here because I am not in the business
at giving birth to black babies to put them in the fucking ground. I do not want my son, because he's having an off day, because he's going to be 10 in just a few short days, and he comes up right to my fucking shoulder and wears a size 8 men's shoe because they mistake him for being older. And they put my boy down. I'm here for my son. I get misgendered a lot. I got big titties. I understand it's confusing. But I'm non-binary, and I'm femme, and I am someone's mother. I have come out here to run supplies to folks. 5 days in a row, I've raised $1,700 in medical supplies and food and ran it up to the hill. And then last Sunday came. I came to drop off more medical supplies Sunday morning, and I come to the line, and there are people at the line about how there are no demands, there's no leadership, there's no nothing, and they're disrespecting the black femmes and non-binary line, telling them that they are incorrect. And I stole the floor, and I kept talking and talking and talking for 4 hours straight until another black femme came and took the space, because I was not going to allow the movement to stop moving. And I'm gonna keep talking and talking and talking and talking. I'm an artist, which people think means that I am a lover and not a fighter. But what they don't understand is that I have been socialized a woman my whole life, and that's all the fuck black women do is fight. When I found out that the police had abandoned this station, I panicked. I was at home. I was gonna rest. I wasn't gonna come up on the hill. I was at home. I was gonna rest. And I found out they left, and my immediate thought was, that building belongs to black people now. That nothing should happen to this building, because this building belongs to black people now. And so I rallied everyone that I could think of to help me protect this building. And I made a call out to the Seattle leather community, because this is also their home up here on the hill. And I asked them to pay attention to this building. And then I realized that I had to go. I had to come up to the hill. And so I got dressed. And as I was zipping up my boots, my son came into my room and said, "Where are you going, Mom?" At this point, my phone's blowing up because people are saying that white nationalists are on their way, that the Proud Boys are on their way, that we don't know who's in charge, we don't know what's going on, but we think people are going to get hurt. And my son asked me, "Mom, where are you going?" They said, "I have to go to the hill, so I have to make sure that the castle that we won does not get lost." I hugged my son, and I held him longer than he wanted me to. And I told him I loved him. And when I walked out of my apartment that night, I wasn't sure how I was coming back home. If I was coming back home. If I was going to get hurt, if I was going to get arrested, or if I was going to die. But all I knew was that I needed to go. I'm trying to build a life for my son and myself. My great-grandmother owned a house in the CD on 25th and King Street when I was growing up. I went to Garfield High School. My grandmother's house was for sale recently, about 3 months ago, and I went to look and see how much that house cost. Knowing damn well I couldn't afford it, but I wanted to. And that house was well over $600,000. And I cried, because I want my great-grandmother's home. That's my home, that's my family's home. We would like our home back, please. We got pushed out. I live in Renton because we got pushed out. And you guys are pushing me out of Renton. I'm in the middle of trying to move. I'm an artist. All of the venues are shut down. A lot of the venues that I do shows at and produce at are here on the hill. I'm emotionally invested as a member of the Seattle burlesque community on this hill. Queer Bar is a home to me. Century Ballrooms, West Hall is a home to me. The Vermilion is a home to me. Annex Theater is a home to me. Capital Cider is a home to me. I am going to be 36 in 2 fucking days. Thank you. I don't look a day over 25, I know it. If you would have told me 10 years ago that I was going to own a business, that I was going to be putting marginalized folks on stage and paying them what they're worth, that I was going to put on the Pacific Northwest first All People of Color Burlesque Festival, I would have told you you're lying. I don't have a college degree. I don't have a bank account. How am I going to do that? I still don't have a college degree. I still don't have a bank account, but I own a business and I'm paying folks. And I'm making art and I'm celebrating Black and brown bodies every day. I worry so much about what is happening up here and about the movement. I worry about it. It wakes me up in the middle of the night because I'm worried. Because I'm a mom and I'm worried. White people, please do not get complacent. Please do not treat this as your block party. Please do not do that. It is disrespectful. In the rain on a Sunday morning, talking for 4 hours straight, and the only thing I wanted to do was go home and be with my son so he could tell me about Sonic the Hedgehog for the millionth fucking time. But I was on the hill and I was talking and I was talking and I was talking and I was talking because I did not want people to lose sight of what the fucking demands are or why the fuck we are here. I'm gonna leave all of my Black femmes and non-binaries with this, my trans Black women with this. Tuesday night, I was high as fucking balls. So high that sometimes you gotta get that high so you can get onto the top shelf. And one of the things that has pained me my whole life is the pursuit of Black love. And so I started sitting there and I started thinking about it. Black love, Black love. And then it was like the universe fucking cracked open, and I was standing in the center of it, and it said, the black love that you need needs to start with you. With you. In that moment, I was happier than I've ever been in my entire life. I love myself, and I know what's in my heart. I know that the life that I was living pre-COVID was not the life I wanted to live in. It was not the life that I wanted to live in and give to my son. And in this moment right now, with everything going on, in the middle of a fucking revolution, and we are scared and we don't know what's gonna happen next, and it is so uncertain and everything is fucking crazy, I am here for it. I am here for it, and I hope you are here for it too. If someone would have told me in January that come June we're going to be in the middle of a fucking revolution, I would have said you're a damn lie. We are in the middle of a revolution. It is fucking wild. And if you were looking for a job and you couldn't find one, well, boo, you just clocked in. This is the job. This is the fucking job. And we are not going to stop until the job gets done. And it doesn't stop here, it continues on. Welcome to work. Clock in. We got food for you and we will keep you hydrated so you can fucking work. But this is a motherfucking job now. Tell a fucking friend. This is the job and we cannot stop until we finish the fucking job. I will be reviewing you. My name is Mixed Pucks Aplenty. I am the they, them, yes queen of burlesque. I am Gabriel's mother. Welcome to work. Testing, test. Hey everyone. Okay, we got a lot more people here. So what's up everybody? Welcome to the Black is Beautiful Femme edition. Yes, I see you in the back. Just a reminder for those of you who showed up late. Black men, black women, we would love, the space is for you. We would love for you to come to the front if you are willing and able. White people in the audience, please take a look around you, to your left, to your right, behind you. And if you see a black person or a person of color, open up, make way. This space is for them, this movement is for them, and we would love to have their energy at the front. With that being said, our significantly understaffed security team did reach out and let me know that we have eyes on some Trump supporters and they are armed. And I'm telling you this now because if you have been here, you have heard the message from the black women to white people and white bodies to prepare to protect us. We are safe, we are fine now. We are doing nothing but we are only peacefully protesting. These people are far away from us right now. But white folks, there's a reason why we ask the black folks to come to the middle so that we can feel safe and together. And there's a reason why y'all are on the outside right now. This is an open carry state. We don't have to be fearful right now. They're here to intimidate us. And you may or may not know, but black folks ain't easily intimidated. So,
In the off chance that those individuals do make their way up this street, or this street, or this street, all of my white folks, now is the time. All you gotta do is turn around, lock your arms together, forget COVID, because we out here, and stand, okay? There's nothing that can happen to us, and if there is, it's out of our control. We know what we're here to do today. We are peacefully protesting. This is centered and built around love. We appreciate you doing what you can. Now we're going to get back into our speakers, and I want everyone to remain confident that we are safe and protected. I had a couple of our Native sisters were here the other day, blessing us at the teach-in, and these times were prophesized. The revolution, I'm here for it too. That's why we out here. We are greatness. This is our time. We are protected, and we are stepping into a higher timeline. So, Kai's going to introduce our next speakers. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and introduce her. Our next speaker is also a woman who has been here on the regular, on the front lines. Her name is Sarah. Please welcome her up to the mic.
You did a good job with that.
Is it on now? It is. Amplification. Yes. So my name is Sarah Tournay. That's Sarah with an H, and it's spelled Tornai. And if you add me on Instagram, I've been documenting some beautiful moments in this movement. I've been a little bit hesitant, very, very hesitant to call myself a leader. And if you were here when Jay spoke and the woman after or before her that was wearing all black, you can kind of start to understand why. Like, I'm here because I was marching next to and taking orders from and leading women like that are such clear leaders that I don't feel like I necessarily have a place to speak. I grew up feeling like I don't really have a place to speak. At every job I've ever had, I have to work twice as hard to be heard. In this movement, I have put my physical body directly in front of armed police without wearing a bulletproof vest. The day that there was a car that drove into the crowd was the day that I went to Lowe's and bought my own generator and bought my own 1300 watt speaker and brought it to the front line so that the frontline people could actually hear what was going on. Right after the car drove through the crowd and the shooter shot once, and then we self-policed so effectively that he was disarmed within seconds. And in that moment, when a gunshot fired, I had the microphone and was kind of talking to the people on the front line. I put my microphone down and I ran. And another black woman, who's smaller than I am, she picked up the microphone and told the crowd, stay calm, stay still. Do you see how successfully we just handled that ourselves? The people handled that, and someone got shot, but no one died. That was a black woman in that moment who kept her cool. And then after that, I played a Black Eyed Peas song and just some music because it was an extremely traumatic moment. I have had one complete psychotic break during this 16 days and a couple panic attacks. I definitely have PTSD. I have been out here at various times doing various things, and right now I have some really, really clear demands. So the first time I made any demands, I stood up on a trash can with a megaphone, and I was like, I, Sarah Tournay, want to meet Jenny Durkin, Inslee, Bezos, and the owner of Goodwill, and 100 other protesters that will be chosen in a way that I don't yet know. That was the very first time I grabbed a megaphone and was just like, I have something to say. And I've kind of been saying that, but it's been augmented. right? After being here for so many days at various times, right now, what we need is a council of Black women to take on leadership together, because there's a lot here that is completely unacceptable. For instance, our security system right now is doing the best that they possibly can in a high-stress situation where we have had to pull things together that were not there. You know, it's like our security system doesn't even have a way to communicate with each other, or there to be a sign-up sheet to find out like who shifts are who. There's no training yet for de-escalation, and yet we are up against the United States government, who is highly armed, okay? So we need to figure this out real quick. Either this movement needs to fundraise to hire actual unarmed security that can keep us safe, because the shenanigans that happen here between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. are completely unacceptable. And I, as a Black woman, have not been able to be heard to save my life. I am here between the hours of 1 a.m. and 5 a.m., not the whole time I have to sleep. And every single time I have seen people in danger or doing something idiotic, my voice gets shut down extremely quickly. Because people look at me and they're like, who the fuck is she? I'm the person who stood unarmed without a bulletproof vest in front of police and National Guard. Because I will put my body in harm's way. If they shoot me, they shoot me. If I die, if I go to prison, I will die for this cause. Do you understand? I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid because I have nothing to lose, because this system has failed me at every single turn. The education system, the healthcare system, every single industry we have is deeply racist, because this country has hoped that we would forget that slave ancestors were never paid for their work. They want us to forget that this land is stolen. They want us to think it's normal that we have to slave away to pay rent and just feed ourselves. This is not normal. The way African Americans are treated in this country is not normal. And I need y'all to do a few things for me. First of all, keep helping amplify Black women's voices specifically. I also need some trans women to be amplified and have the microphone. Without the leadership of trans women in this movement, none of this shit would be possible. It's a hostile word. I need you to read the book Black Against Empire to understand all of the ways that the US government, the CIA, and FBI will use all sorts of tactics that are super confusing against us without knowing your history. There's a reason that most people don't actually know the history of the Black Panther movement. It's because they started to succeed. They started to succeed in such an intense way that Black Panther members who were in their teens were getting shot in their homes, in their beds asleep. What was so threatening about the Black Panther movement? They stopped asking white people for help, and they started creating their own police and their own economy. They took care of their communities. Protesting is important, but also community work is so important. I have a dream of taking over the Goodwill in Seattle, specifically the Goodwill on Dearborn, that's the size of a super Walmart. And I would like to just completely redo the business model of the Goodwill. All of these things are getting donated, and yet I see homeless people every day that are poorly dressed, and I know there's poor families everywhere that need the free things that are sitting in the Goodwill that got donated for free. I also would like to tax Amazon. I have, the thing is, I could hold you here for hours talking about how the police in New Zealand are unarmed and can de-escalate situations without murdering people, and how Maybe people from New Zealand should come and teach people in Seattle how to be peaceful police. I have all sorts of ideas, and like one speaker before me said, you need to let Black people shine. We already have the ideas. We just need the resources. Yo, there is not enough money in my bank account to pay for the 3 months of rent that I owe. Like, I don't have the resources to implement my brilliant ideas. And it's not just me. I'm just a voice that's speaking for a million other Black voices that have brilliant ideas but no resources. So yeah, what else do I have to say? Yeah, if you see me around and I'm telling you that you are putting our collective safety in danger, if I see you around and I'm telling you that you're being an idiot, please know, I'm an idiot sometimes, but I need you to listen to me as a Black woman because I am a fucking soldier and I'm intelligent. Also, I need you to read the book, The People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn. Because right now there is a lot of racial tension in this country, and some of it is healthy because white people need to deeply, deeply question the foundation of their lives. But some of it is that the government wants to tear us apart. And in the book, The People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn, there's multiple accounts of every time there was a revolution that was sprouting up in the US, the government had some way to have infighting and just split people apart from the inside, from the outside. Like,
Yes.
when reading history books about slavery, I would always wonder, like, if there were so many more slaves than masters, because there was always like, you know, like 30 slaves or 100 slaves and just a few white people. Like, why couldn't they just overpower them? And now I'm starting to really, really, really get it. The fear that they instill on us, and the fact that they are so highly armed when we are like with nothing. It's scary. It's scary. It's so fucking scary, but there's always been way more of us than there have been of them. Imagine if we rush them and just disarm them, right? Look how many people are here right now. When the police were there with the barricades, there was maybe like 50 of them, 40 of them, 30 of them. Look how many more of us there are. And in my heart, this right now is the equivalent of a slave rebellion. I do not feel free in this country in any way. I feel like I have to slave away day in and day out just to survive in a system that does not see me, hear me, or care to see me or hear me, and consistently underestimates me. Yeah, I'm just gonna spell my last name again. And oh no, I have one more thing. Okay, tonight, because I was extremely disappointed with, not disappointment, no, we're doing our best. Okay, I'm gonna be at the night watch tent trying to talk to and organize the night security. I am going to be sitting there at the night watch tent, just seeing if I can make sense of this clusterfuck situation that we are in, because the security around here, like, this is not a joke. This is serious. Our president is batshit crazy. The police are batshit crazy. They're highly armed. They've got tear gas, they've got guns, they've got all the bombs, they've got like probably sonic weapons to make you lose your mind that we don't even know about. We need better security, because there's a lot of young people here that I look at and I'm like, you're just a few years from being able to be my kid. And if my kid was out here, even though this is like a dangerous situation, I would really, really want to make sure that there are people there that are safe at hours, at any time of day, but especially the wee hours of the night. We really need to address that. We need for people to be able to be in this zone right here and feel, I don't need, if one more time when I am telling a belligerent man to sit the fuck down, other men come and tell me why I'm being bossy and what to do, and who are you to tell me what to do? This is my space. No. if there was like a team of security that was all women, you know, like. But I don't know if there's enough of us, and I'm pretty sure that enough Black bodies have been in those roles of like putting ourselves in danger that I would like for to be a thing. I think the Black women here have better things to do than to act as the security team. But tonight, that's what I'm going to be doing because I see a need and I fill it. I encourage every single one of you to take responsibility and ownership and leadership wherever you can while staying as humble as you possibly can and listening to the voices around you. I also need people to start meditating, doing whatever spiritual practices you need to. Heal your soul, treat your body. If there is stress and anger and tension in your body, we need to address that. If there is deep trauma and sorrow in your heart, you need to address that. Our emotions are real, our feelings are valid. Your health is super important, and you are useless to this movement if you are not healthy. Sometimes I get really, really grumpy, and I start snapping at people. And that's when I know that I need to go home and take a nap. And someone else needs to step up in my place and handle the situation in a more compassionate way. Because y'all don't want to see me lose my shit.
Testing. There we go. CORNA. I want to piggyback everything that Sarah just said, actually. So, last time I was up here, I brought some what could be very frightening news. But I also want to touch base. You know, we do have the right to bear arms in this country, and in this state particularly, we are an open carry state. Sarah touched base on the need for more security. And we are gathered here today specifically for the Black folks so that we can become more organized as leaders in this space. So, you may not be familiar with the gentleman standing next to me here with the gun on his leg. People here that are part of the John Brown Gun Club that are actually here to protect us and they have weapons. So thank you, Sarah, for that beautiful transition. We have, you know, it's been really good timing around here. So, while we have people that are in the area with hate in their hearts and intent to intimidate, we also have people here with weapons to protect us if it comes to that point. And we're all gonna keep in our mental that this is a peaceful protest. We are all safe, we are protected. This is prophecy and we are healing. Also, this is a call to those of you who are feeling like you want to plug in a real way, and if you have the time and capacity to be on that overnight shift, plug into that survey. The information that we get from that survey, we are going to give to the leaders that have been organizing and have stepped up. I've already had several people just today reach out to me and they're like, I want to be involved in a real way. Black people, we want to give those leaders a team to work with. We can't do this on our own. So please take that survey. Check in with the people that you see around here with weapons, because there is a need for them actually. And we're looking at a long game here. So, enough talking about guns, y'all. Kyle's gonna bring our next speaker on the stage. Welcome Kyle one more time. Like I said, I'm too tall for this. So I'm and everything. So sorry if I keep making weird noises. There's a lot going on right now. I'm going to take a deep breath because it's going to make me feel better being on stage, and hopefully you guys can do that with me and kind of get everybody on the same level. Everybody ready? We're going to take a big, deep breath in through your nose and then a long one out through your mouth. You ready? All right, let's go. Breathe in. I needed that. I hope that was good for you guys too.
I'm going to announce our next speaker. Kind of a big deal to me. I just met her a couple weeks ago, had a little meeting, got to hear her speak. She's an activist, a community educator, a queer Black mom. She's building movements and change. She's been doing that for the past 20 years. She's active in Block the Bunker and the No Youth Jail movements. Yeah, isn't that dope? Yeah. Thank you. Okay. And she's also running for State House in the 37th District. Yeah. All right, so everybody give it up for Kirsten Harris Talley. Sorry, we're just sanitizing.
Hey fam! I am so ecstatic to be here with you all, you beautiful souls today. I'm so happy the sun has joined us, although I didn't mind a little water. Whew. Could you have imagined a month ago that we would all be sitting here together? Could you have imagined we'd be sitting with an empty precinct for police behind our backs? Could you imagine you could look around and see white people willing to put their life on the line globally for Black lives? I'll be honest, I did not. And I'm an activist, which means I'm ridiculously optimistic. Because deep in my spirit, I know that a true future of liberation is possible. That a true future of inclusion is possible. That the intersection of my identities as a Black person, and a queer person, and a femme, and a mother, and an activist, and a wife, cannot be ignored, but can be acknowledged and elevated. I'm running for State House because so much of the work that we have been doing in this city, in this county, the last decade, is limited by the tools and permissions that we have on the state level in so many ways. It is not lost on me that only a week ago, I was standing with many of you behind a barricade where not only our local police, but the state National Guard was making sure we could not have access to the streets that, quite frankly, are ours. Our tax dollars pay for it. Our lives are the ones that built it. And the fact that people are literally in a pandemic, a global pandemic, standing up for a moment of pause that was forced upon us to say no more, and to be an active collective action together in the same direction is literally unprecedented in the entire history of the world, let alone our corner of it. And I keep reflecting on what was different this time. And I say what was different this time because there is not a person who's native, whose land is occupied here, who has not been saying for all of that time, my life matters. There is not a Black person who was stolen from our ancestral and indigenous lands, enslaved, brought across oceans, further enslaved, fought and won a revolution to try to end that enslavement, only to have it codified and shifted in our Constitution and our 13th Amendment. Who has not been saying my life matters, take action. So what was different this time? We've watched how many videos of Black lives being stifled and snuffed out? All of us have. And when we go to the roots of where the abolition movement started, and I say the abolition movement because I am a proud abolitionist. I will not stop until this is done. I cannot stop until this is done. It is the history and resiliency of my people that requires it. Early on in the abolition movement, the traction point that created a mass movement that started the fight to end slavery, which we are still actively in, was when white people with privilege and means were willing to put their life on the line too. When we think of what happened with the transition of slavery, it is the slave narratives that told the story that Black people and Native people who were enslaved could not tell. And let me be clear, it was structural and intentional. It is not a coincidence that we were told we could not read and write and it was illegal and our life would be snuffed out. Because they did not want people to hear the story of enslavement. For folks who do not know, we have one of the best collections of original slave narratives in the entire country at our library at the UW. After all of this, I inquire you please go to those archives and read those stories. Because those stories are the stories of our ancestors, talking about the realities of their life. But those stories were collected by white allies. White allies who were willing to go in secret to people who were not given the privilege to tell their story and to document those stories. And then to work in secret with publishers and others to make sure those stories got printed. And then to work with others in an underground to make sure those stories were heard and resonated and communicated to other white people who could then take their privilege and wield together with the front of Black lives to make change. And that's what we're going to need. And that's what we're going to need every day. The fact that this space has been built as an autonomous zone for freedom and liberation is beautiful. But I also know what Sarah was talking about what action will look like to create that, is going to take a lot of work. We have been told that we cannot be safe without enslavement control. It's not true. It's not true. We have been told the people who protect us are the folks who come in after some harm has happened in our communities, and for most of us inflict more harm. I don't know about you, but I'm a Black mama.
Yes.
I ain't calling the cops. The only question on my mind before I call the cops is, are they gonna make it better or worse? And rarely is the answer better. Not for me and my children. It's not. I grew up in rural Missouri, in the heart of the Bible Belt. A state that, if you remember your 5th grade civics lesson, literally the Dixie line during the Civil War split that state in half because of the Missouri Compromise. Which means I lived in a place that both had the narrative that it was part of the Northern struggle to keep this United States together, and the preservation of a legacy of 4 years of revolt that happened in the South. And let me be clear, the Civil War never ended in this country. It just went cold. But this, the collectiveness of this could be the end of the Civil War. This could be the beginning of collective liberation. This could be action where all our lives actually matter, because we make sure Black, queer, poor lives matter too. This is the moment we can end the Civil War. This is the moment we can say we're not going to acknowledge and be okay with state violence that would kill us before giving us freedom. We're not going to do it no more. We're tired. And we deserve a rest. As hell, tired as hell. Every bit of grief within you is valid. Every facet of emotion in that grief is valid. The anger you feel is valid. It is righteous. I feel my anger deep in my belly when it comes up. I don't know where you feel your anger in your body. And what I do is I sit with my anger and I say, are you grief? Are you sadness? Are you frustration? I identify where that anger comes from. And then I feed that anger through my heart chakra. Through where I show my love and my compassion and my action. And I ask, how can I take that anger and turn it into love and action that's going to save a Black or Native life today? I ask myself that every day. Right? You standing out here and listening and learning together and sharing it with someone else who can't be here and not knowing, that could save a Black and Native life today. My children are 8 and 5. And my husband and I have a policy: when our children ask an answer, we always tell them the truth. Always. And I say that because as a Black person, I've never had the privilege to lie and shield my children from any reality of their life. Not for a second. So I want to say this to white parents: if you have not sat down to talk about the reality of what is happening with your children, please do. Please don't make my children be the only ones to carry the burden of a moment. If you don't know how to have that conversation, please find someone who can help you, who will sit beside you, who will call you in. Let me also say this: we are all going to make mistakes in what is emerging in this moment, every one of us. And that's okay. If you haven't read it yet, I strongly recommend Adrienne Maree Brown's Emergent Strategies. Give a joy shout if you've read that book. Yes. The thesis of that book is that what makes activism resilient and win is that we do not have the full staircase in front of us to take the step and the next step. That each step will be emergent based on the tools, needs, and talent of those who are present. It means that small is all. To start with just a few, it will grow into the many we need. It means that those present are the ones, the right ones, to have that conversation in that moment. Emergent, not premeditated. We get to rebuild everything the way it should have been the first time now. To go back to what was normal before, because it wasn't working for 99% of us. Washington State is a state that is 82% white. That's not by accident in a world that is mostly melanin. It took intention. It took work. It took effort. Folks right now are crying to defund the police because we're sick of all the other stuff that's been defunded. I'm not defunding education anymore. I'm not defunding healthcare anymore. I'm not defunding community centers and small businesses and entrepreneurs. Not anymore. And anyone who tells you we don't have the money, remind them we have an almost trillionaire in our backyard. We have more millionaires per capita than any other city in the world. Every major corporation that has built the capitalism that stands on our backs is right here. The cornerstone of the military-industrial complex has 2 airfields on either side of the 37th district.
Ooh.
The air quality in my neighborhood is some of the worst in the state because we'd rather fund a war machine than people's health care. The 37th district runs from Ridge Highway north through the Central District through Chinatown International District. It is the most diverse legislative district in the entire state of Washington, which is why I'm so ecstatic to represent y'all there when I'm in India. But let me be clear, that isn't by accident. It's because of legacies of redlining policy that was quarantining and keeping folks there. The pejorative term for the Rainier Valley where I live used to be Garlic Gulch because it used to be an Italian neighborhood. And let me be clear, before Italians were white people. That's the true truth. Italians weren't always white people. Irish people weren't always white people. It's a members-only club. And let me say this to white people. You don't have to be white. You can be your heritage, just like me. You can give up whiteness. You can put it aside. You can say it's not feeding me, my family, or this country, or my community, and I'm not going to do it anymore. Find your ancestral roots. Find your indigenous roots. My mother is white, Irish, Scottish, and my father's black. Unknown. Because the history of the black side of my family was intentionally taken away. I can't even find birth records. The biggest index of black people knowing their lineage was slave records being released. That's not right. If you have the privilege of knowing where your roots are, stick to that and give up whiteness, please. Please. And let me say this, because someone told me this once and I believe it to my bones. Because my known heritage was taken away from me, I get to embrace every bit of blackness and indigenousness that will have me. What a gift. What a gift. So I don't just have my local village where my folks were stolen from and enslaved to embrace. I have a whole continent of Africa. A beautiful, amazing place. So I want to leave you with this. This is a rare moment of pause in a movement that's going to ask you to act. Do not stop acting. Furthermore, find who beside you has not yet acted and take them under your wing to help them know how to act, how to take action, how to be there. Continue to follow the lead of black, brown, and indigenous people, and I cannot say that enough. It's the only way forward. Keep each other well. Keep each other safe. Ask black and brown people first if they feel safe, and then you'll know. If you want to join what we're building in the South End, it's a community campaign where we're amplifying the most impacted first. We're trying to make sure that the most diverse district in Washington State is on the front lines of every win we're going to have in Olympia, because we need everyone. They're talking about austerity cuts instead of revenue. They're going to be revisiting the budget this fall. Do not lift the state budget and not pay attention. TVW lets you live stream it on any device you have. Do not let what's happening in Olympia be absent from your mind. They are talking about cutting health care and frontline services. Family planning? I work in reproductive justice. I'm the ED of NARO Pro-Choice Washington. They're talking about cutting frontline family planning services by $2 million. We don't have a penny to spare on it. There is not a black, brown, or indigenous life anywhere here that can go without those funds. Do not let them do it. Do not let them make cuts when we could be raising money that feeds communities. It's here. The wealth is here. And it should be all of ours. And a collective good to spend the way it should be spent so that we can thrive. So continue to pay attention. Continue to take action. Continue to tell others. You can reach me at Kirsten@electkht, which are my initials. I also go by KHT if you want to show me some love that way too, .org. Join what we're doing. Take action. Talk to neighbors. If you can do it here on the streets, do it. If you do it online, do it. Continue to hold the line. Be well, be safe, be loved. Thank you.
Don't go nowhere yet. Hold on, we ain't done.
I got it. Hello? Ah, there we go. All right. Sorry, I had to wipe pizza fingers. Oh, I see a lot of people moving around and leaving. We still got one more speaker here. I know there's going to be something going on afterwards, so there's still going to be lots more people to listen to, which is going to be awesome. Just real quick before I introduce our last person, I am going to announce again that white bodies, just if you look left, look right, look behind you, if you see a black person, not in front of you, give them the chance to move up to the front. Like I said before, we have not always had that opportunity, and this space is for us right now. Also, I keep getting compliments on my shirt. And I don't know if you noticed, but Nadia is wearing kind of the same deal. Does everybody know where I got this from? Yes, Wolf Deluxe. Great friend of mine, artist. He has a mural right over on the corner. Go ahead and take a look, respect it. He has a shop over in the IV, and he's on Instagram. So, that's where I got this from. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Next, I want to introduce somebody. She's an activist, speaker. She lives in Rainier Beach, and she works with the Black youth. She's a foster parent, and she's part of the Black Student Union here at Seattle Central College. I had the chance to see her do a really, really beautiful piece of poetry on 23rd in Jackson last week. And I'm really excited to introduce Sophia Tacola. Done this like 20 times.
Sanitation's key. Hey y'all, how y'all doing?
Thank you.
This is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Thank y'all for coming out.
Thank you.
Like she said, my name is Sophia Tacola.
Thank you.
I go to the school that's like right there. And I live, reside, work, and do all my life in Rainier Beach. So thank you for having me here today. Are there any little black girls in the crowd? Can you raise your hand? Any little black girls? Or teenagers? Little black girls? Or black kids? You guys, all the young black girls, come on up. Make room. These are our queens. See, I grew up in South King County, and if you know anything about South King County, and it's the one place in all of Washington State that thought, I'm gonna go vote for Trump. So growing up, I did not see this many black faces. I didn't have any black friends, and I grew up in a place where I got detention for wearing my hair like this. So from age 5 or 6 years old, I thought, okay, I'm gonna go straighten my hair so I can be accepted by my school. I can be accepted by my teachers. And then when I got cracked at 6 years old, that's kindergarten, for having my dark melanated skin that was even darker than my little sister's, I was like, oh my goodness, I guess the only thing to do is bleach my skin. I was in kindergarten. How crazy is that? Well, we grow up in this place where blackness is not the ideal, as if Adam and Eve wasn't in Africa. That's crazy, y'all. And see, right before COVID, I have something called endometriosis, which basically means I need to have a bunch of surgeries before I have kids. But the crazy thing about having kids, did you know that black women are anywhere from 6 to 8 times more likely to die from having a child than white women? How crazy is that? Or that little black girls are being put in jail in kindergarten for throwing a tantrum. Have you ever seen a little white kid throwing a tantrum and put in jail? Y'all, this is messed up. And I love my black brothers, and I love my black men, but I'm telling you, we are leaving little black girls and little black women and big black women all out of the conversation, and I can't have it anymore. I am tired and I am frustrated. My voice sounds like this because I have been crying and screaming that my black sisters can be heard. So I wrote a little something. In fact, I wrote 2 somethings. This one is dedicated to my little black girls because honestly, if y'all didn't know this, when a little black girl comes up to you and compliments your hair, that is the best compliment. I am on cloud 9 all week, all day. It is amazing because that little black girl knows that her blackness is divine. It's a powerful thing when a black woman loves herself. In a country that was built on enslaving, raping, abducting her children, stealing her partner, beating her, and murdering her. To exist and thrive in itself is a miracle, an act by God herself. And did you know one of the best compliments you could ever get is from a little black girl who looks up to you and sees your beauty and wants to grow up to embrace herself in all her natural glory because she saw you when you were just simply just living yourself in a world that tries to dehumanize you. The other best compliment comes from a chocolate sister, that queen divine, already in the making, who not only acknowledges your beauty, but your strength in a world to set up to defeat you. And did you know the strongest type of love there is next to God's love is black self-love. Black self-love isn't like any other love. It sticks onto you like beeswax on a curl. Once you tap into it, the world shakes and you grow, growing in a way that you couldn't ever imagine. I say this from experience because even though this world throws hatred and invisibility upon us, we fight to love us. Whole movements and worlds we create through us when there aren't any space for us. And we don't only bring life into this world as black sisters, we sustain it. The very slave master's child sucks on us for nutrition, and all we are asking in return is for you to be part of our vision. See, black self-love is not just an intermission into a pandemic. It's a call for all involved to fix the systemic racism plaguing black men and black women. In the prison of America, written work of Willie Lynch and them. So I'm telling you, fight back, men and black women. Our love is a powerful thing. So fight for us at all costs. Black love and loyalty unwashed. We are women on a mission. That black love rendition. We are silent names no more. Black women at the door. Love over poor. No silence anymore. Now I see a lot of you guys wearing wonderful shirts honoring all of our brothers who are murdered. But I don't see a shirt, not a single shirt, that shows all the black women. Can a single one of you name all the black women? Do you guys realize Me Too movement was started by a black woman? And oh yeah, Black Lives Matter movement started by 3 black women. So why are black women not being acknowledged? I am sick of it. Like, y'all realize you come from us, right? Like, you realize that? Like, the fact that we are the bridge between earth and heaven. Like, the literal bridge between the spirit world and not. That's us. And yet, you ignore us. You ignore us. The fact that we still have black sisters being murdered. How many of you can name all of their names? So I'm going to say my next poetry, and I'm going to shout names, and I'm going to say the name. And I want you to say the name like it's never been heard. Like the name their black moms probably cried out. Because we're not giving them justice, and y'all need to turn it around. Seriously, like, you need to turn it around. Black Lives Matter movement is a powerful thing because of 3 powerful black women who got together and powerful women that continue to come together. But we are left out of the conversation again and again in the schools, in the churches, in the movements. I mean, y'all see the pink pussy hats walking around. But like, black women started that, but yet they're left out of the conversation. I mean, come on now. What the heck is gonna change? Y'all need to start saying the names. And not just because I'm saying the names, but because you start to learn the history, open up a book. I dare all of you guys, when you go home today, look up how many black women are getting killed and murdered. Centoria Brown, for starters. Thank God she is still alive and here with us. She acted in self-defense to kill the person who was constantly raping her. And yet, she goes to prison for it? Try to be put away for life? That's messed up, y'all. Like, that should not happen. So continue to do the research and the history and say the names. We don't talk about black women enough. Oh, we don't talk about black women enough. The leaders in the movement, we don't talk about black women enough. The bridge between heaven and earth, we don't talk about black women enough. The strongest thing is their love, loyalty, and shove. We don't talk about black women enough. The very backbone to this nation, we don't talk about black women enough. The silence is deafening. We don't talk about black women enough. The ones who birthed this nation, we don't talk about black women enough. Take a look at Centoria Brown. All around, the silence is complicity in a country of white supremacy and fragility, police brutality towards black girls and women. Oh, it's a catastrophe. And we don't talk about black women enough. Breonna Taylor's birthday was a few Fridays ago, and we don't talk about black women enough. She would have been 27 years old that day. That's only 4 years older than me. Are you telling me all I have to look for is being shot in my sleep? We don't talk about black women enough. Breonna Taylor, we don't talk about black women enough. Being killed pregnant and asking police for help in front of her children, Charlena Lyles. Being killed in police custody, Sandra Bland. Being killed because Fender Bender, Malaysia Booker, getting killed because police custody, Lily Polanco, being killed because playing video games with her nephew, Atiana Jefferson, being sick and killed in her bedroom, Deborah Danner, being killed protecting her children, Corin Gaines, being killed defending her home, Megan Hockaday, being killed because you thought I was a male suspect, Taytana Hargrove, being killed standing up against injustices, Marielle Franco, being killed because walking away, Rakaya Boyd, being killed because spot pleaded accident on our little black girl, Ayana Jones, being killed because I'm trans, Raya Johnson, Brandy Coleman, and too many damn. I am tired that black women are not being talked about. A few Fridays ago was Breonna Taylor's birthday, and her murderers are walking free. Y'all, they made a law and passed it, and her murderers are walking free. Does that make sense to you? Why isn't everybody talking about it? This is not okay. Police brutality is harming black women too. Our schools, our families, our communities, our girls, our women are under attack. Do not forget black women and simply shoot them in your back. This is my guidance to you. Stand up with black women. Speak up with black women. Show up with black women. We have been here all along. This for his noose. Due to the brutality being insurmountable, it's time to hold the police accountable. Say all of their names. Black women, we're humans too. Breonna Taylor, say her name. Sandra Bland, say her name. Charlene Lyles, say her name. Malaysia Booker, say her name. Rakaya Boyd, say her name. Lily Polanco, say her name. Atiana Jefferson, say her name. Corinne Gaines, say her name. Say her name. Megan Hockaday, say her name. Tatiana Hargrove, say her name. Marielle Franco, say her name. Rakaya Boyd, say her name. Raya Johnson, say her name. Brandy Coleman, say her name. Ayanna Jones, say her name. Our little black girls and strong black women are under attack, and it's big time, like hell, to fight for their backs.
What a day, what a day. Wow. Thank you so much for that. God is good all the time. Jesus came and made sure it didn't rain today. We're almost over. I'm gonna see if we got some wine. I think we can make enough for all of us. But maybe not. So, again, thank you guys. Can we give another applause for all the black women speakers who came out tonight? I want to thank you guys for making them feel welcome, creating a safe space for black women. As you see, you know, there were complications. And that's like our lives, complications. And we especially thank you for helping us make it through. I feel right now, we're going to make it through. I know there's one of them Kanye songs or something. We're going to make it through, okay? It's not going to take very long. So, again, I'm Miss Jessie. I'm with the Harriet Tubman Foundation for Safe Passage. My daughter and I, director, co-director, we helped create a space today with the help of a lot of other people. The reason what it was for black women to have a voice to be heard on this stage. And I think that they were heard today. You think they were heard? And you know, black women, what we're known for, really, we love. We love you, no matter what. We're going to take care of you. But at the same time, we need at times for someone to take care of us. I want, you know, I'm a smiling person. You see, I'm smiling, I'm looking at everybody. And I had to think about that earlier when I thought about that, because that's the face that I've been taught to give you. That I've been trained to give you this face to make you happy and such. But you wouldn't know the pain that I've gone through looking at this face. And that's what black women are great at. But let you know, there's much pain behind that, but we will not let you see it. But understand, support us, we need it. You'll never see us, you know, sweat. But that's the strength that we have. I want to go back and let you know the real reason I actually forgot, and it's not even forgetting, it's part of that PTSD that happens to us living in this kind of life. The reason why I started the foundation was because I work in the music business, you guys. I collect royalties for musicians and entertainers. That's what I do. But I believe musicians are the prophets. Okay, I believe that's how the story is being told and how we change things. Music is that social justice tool. And so, you know, prophets are still here. They might be a rapper, okay? So just know, listen to him. Make sure you're listening to the right guy. But my artist, I teach how to navigate the system. Because you can't make it through the system. I thought you could, and I've been successfully. made it through a couple of times. And I was trying to teach him how to navigate the system as well. And I found out quite abruptly that it does not work the same. You know, I got that smile, I can kind of spin it, but not always for black men. It doesn't always work. The judge is like, no, you're a black guy. So even though we won, what happened to, he was shot in the back by the LAPD 3 times for having a phone in his hand, walking down the street, because a neighbor said something that wasn't true. And with that, after that situation happened, the police came and started trying to take my family away from me because I knew the truth. So that's what the real thing that happens out there. And I'm like, hold on, I'm Miss Jessie, hold the heck on. I know you're not trying to take mine for me. And they did. And for me, the start of the foundation was, if they can do it to me, they can do it to you. I'm a smart cookie. I know how to run the gamut. But if they're doing it to me, oh no, I know they're doing it to you. So with that, I'm here today. My daughter's here. For those people who live here, who are organizing, she's going to be here. I'm going back to LA, but I'm going to come back and forth. Tickets is real cheap right now. Okay? And I get 2 seats. But we're going to help you. We're going to help you do what you guys need to do to give us the life. I do feel like there's change coming. I know what's happening in my life because God whispers. I think He's whispering to y'all too. But with that, thank you guys for coming to the event. You guys did it. And again, make sure before you leave that you get the scan, that you fill out so you can fill out the survey. Survey is very important. I will go talk to the mayor, and I will go talk to the governor. And I know like the Surgeon General and all those. I know everybody, you guys. So I need you. I'm gonna be that segue to get the things that you need. But I need to know what you need, and I'm not gonna say what I need. I need to say what you guys need, and how you feel about pushing it, and actually organize you guys. It's going to take a year or 2 to get things. It's not going to happen overnight. But we have to be organized. And if anyone has told you, or the media, the fake news out there, we organizing over here, okay? So with that, we need your donation, we need your conversation, and we need you to fill out that survey so I can take it to the powers that be and tell them, you know, we are participating in the process, and we want what we want, and you're going to give it to us now. With a smile on my face.
And before we take it to the powers that be, we're going to keep that within these black leaders and organizers in this space. So we're going to utilize the information that you give to us in the survey to organize ourselves. Okay, before we take it to the white folks, the powers that be, we're going to use it to organize ourselves. We need to know what your capacity is, what your skills are, what you want to bring to the table. I've had more people in the last 2 days, young black people, come to me saying, I want to organize. I've been trying to figure out what the best way to do it is. In the past 2 days, and the entire 14 days we've been out here, there is not just one leader in the space. There's not just one leader in this area, this region. There are many of us out here, and there's a role for every single one of us out here, and that's what brought us here today. It's important that we organize as a people so we can push this movement forward, just like my mom said. And I want to remind you too, our first 3 demands. There's a lot of demands out there, y'all. So we gotta remember this is a long game. So the first demand is defund the police. Defund the police. Second demand is that's right. Y'all in the back, I don't hear you. So it's to invest that money into communities of color specifically. And our third demand, release all the protesters. Release all the protesters. Absolutely. And there are more demands that are out there, lengthy lists of demands from organizations like Africa Town. There's a collective black voice for this space that I have not been involved in yet, but the demands are spot on. So this is just the beginning. We got to prepare for the end game. Filling out that survey is one of the ways that we can organize strategically. Come speak to me, Kaya, my mom. We're going to be here for a while. After we close up here, we're going to put on a little bit of music, and then we're going to get ready for the People's Assembly, which is something that happens here normally every day at 3 p.m. They're going to start right after this. We'll break out into groups. Xavier is going to be the lead on that, but we will be around too to support as well. So please do stick around if you are willing and able. Maybe go get some snacks while the music is on and bring your way back, make your way back over here.
Thank you. I'm going to hand it to them, but I'm going to say thank you guys.
Sorry about the sounds. Give it up for everybody that came on stage today. Everybody's amazing. Yes. Shout out to Seattle. Nice. How refreshing was it to see a bunch of black women come up here and speak? Yes. Louder. I can hear a little bit louder. Yes. Thank you so much for
I think this is finished. This part is finished.
It's amazing. It was a big turnout.
No, I'm telling you. Like, I think they're talking about playing music. When they start playing music, shut it down and come back.
So Instagram, you're gonna find her at Just Call Me Nas. And you can find me at Kaya, Kiya, Mac 206. If you have any questions about events, Feature Black is beautiful events, anything like that, please reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you, everybody.